Wednesday, January 16th, 2008. Item number SCP-173. Special Containment Procedures. Item SPC-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must be looking at SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. 17 years ago, a 4chan post was made. It was strange, clinical, and mysterious. It describes a statue with supernatural properties that make it dangerous, and how it can be locked up to keep it from hurting anyone. What's captivating about the post is how many questions it answers without being asked. The acronym SCP is immediately answered with the line Special Containment Procedures, although it would later become the slogan Secure, Contain, Protect. The number 173 implies that there are at least 172 other such things in need of being locked up. The procedures are thorough. They list facilities and personnel, implying there's an extensive logistical network supporting these efforts, a whole organization. The SCP Foundation stands on some pretty basic tropes that have been around for a hot minute now, walking in the footsteps of Men in Black and urban fantasy that came before. The SCP Wiki tells the story of the Foundation, a secretive power that obscures the supernatural, locking it away and keeping it hidden from the public. This premise has been the singular uniting thread in one of the most expansive community writing exercises in human history. The initial 4chan post spawned a wave of creative inspiration, with people contributing their own ideas to the setting and spawning Series 1, the first 1,000 SCP articles. For the sake of demonstrating what makes SCP so special, let's discuss some Series 1 skips that stand out, that helped establish the popularity of the project. Throughout Series 1, we see a trend of taking common, established pillars of fiction run through an SCP filter. SCP-008 is a zombie virus. Just a straight-up zombie virus, as you would imagine it. The Foundation keeps a vial of it in a back closet for testing. Number 23 is Black Shuck, the Black Shuck of English lore. Number 49 is a plague doctor who plays with supernatural alchemy. Numbers 73 and 76 are the biblical Cain and Abel, respectively. Number 113 is a rock with gender-flipping powers. Number 288 is literally called the Stepford Marriage Rings after the Stepford Wives movie. More than any other series, our first has a significant number of skips that lean on existing tropes and widely established story elements. Certain aspects of them you will recognize from other pieces of fiction most readily. As we'd expect, with writers first playing around in the concept of SCP, trying to find their footing. With this, we establish a norm. A weird thing exists, the SCP Foundation locks it up in a way that uniquely contains it. Number 49 is given dead bodies to alchemy up. Number 76 is shot with .50 BMG. The Foundation is flexible. For some more specifics, let's look at number 035. 35 is a porcelain theater mask and home to a possessive entity. This entity is evil, vindictive, and sadistic, seeking to possess anyone that puts on the mask, though it can make do with mannequins, statues, or dead bodies if applied. At first, it seems like a thing that can easily be locked away in a box and forgotten about. But 35 doesn't stop there. The entity inside is telepathic and wildly persuasive, able to sway the majority of people that come near it to do its bidding. The mask also leaks a corrosive substance that makes physical vessels capable of containing it few and far between. And so, the Foundation complies. 35 burns through a container, they supply another. It demands human interaction, they feed it disposable personnel. Which is another important thing to note. The Foundation keeps a stock of personnel called D-class, literally disposable people. When a job necessitates a person die in the doing of it, like letting number 35 possess and kill someone to keep it happy, they feed it a D-class. The extent and nature of D-class use will depend on the author. Does the Foundation callously throw away human lives by the dozens for little to be gained? Or do they only use convicted felons, the worst of the worst, and sacrifice them only when necessary? Depends on what the story needs. Back to number 35, we see the Foundation capitulate to the pressure presented by containing the subject, willing to provide for and contain the subject if necessary. Feeding number 35 a D-class to play with every now and then keeps it happy. A retired version of number 083 listed a vampire, an honest-to-God, Dracula-esque vampire, that the Foundation contained partly by regularly feeding it D-class. Number 178 is a pair of 3D glasses that reveal horrific monsters to the wearer. The Foundation learned that the monsters viscerally attack the wearer if disturbed, via spending dozens of D-class lives, forcing them to interact with the monsters, causing their deaths over and over for little scientific gain. This trend changes things, and it's a part of containment that gets played with a lot. How far is the Foundation willing to go to contain an anomaly? And is there anything out there to necessitate this level of callous disregard for human life? Every SCP article opens with the skip's containment procedures. The Foundation's ultimate goal is concealment, not destruction. And the vast majority of cases, they prefer not to just outright kill a skip. If number 682 were written today, it wouldn't stand out much. It's a big monster that likes to kill. Lots of articles like to play with the idea of a big monster that likes to kill. The opening line of number 682, that it, quote, must be destroyed as soon as possible, is what gives it bite, relative to the time it was written in Series 1. Imagine first reading Series 1. Imagine first trawling through the Wiki in its infancy, reading article after article about containment this and containment that, only to suddenly open an article and be met with, this thing must be destroyed as soon as possible. To see such a dramatic shift in the Foundation's modus operandi made number 682 stand out, and opened the way for more dramatic forces for the Foundation to encounter. No other skip has seen as much use in short stories or other articles as number 682. Its premise is simple. It's a big monstrous lizard, very violent, and can modify its biology to preserve it against any threat, making it functionally unkillable. With how difficult it is to contain something like that, it's easy to see why the Foundation would resign themselves to just destroying it. Number 682 is important because it's a parameter, a limit for other following skips to fall within. Number 76, Able, serves a similar function. Able is functionally an X-Man, and the, quote, Able line is the vague line of how much your skip can resemble a superhero before it gets rejected. Number 682 is the mold most other skip murder monsters fall in line within to be considered interesting or well-written. With how open-ended the SCP Wiki is, with anyone open to contribute their work for approval, the early skips set the limits on what was allowed and what was considered good. Today, we have a total of 10 series, with 1,000 skips to each. Covering the merit of each and every one would make this video quite long. And I work for a living, so we don't have all day. To that end, we're going to pluck out some of my favorites. Number 1048 is a teddy bear. That makes more teddy bears. Out of whatever material it can find. Fabric, dirt, metal, human flesh. The article takes a hard right turn as it goes to the horror of what number 1048 is capable of. I won't be reading from the article itself. It really is quite a read and a great example of a common item with a weird property proving to be fantastic nightmare fuel. In the same line, number 871 is cake. Its anomalous property is that it is self-duplicating. Every 24 hours, if number 871 is not eaten, it will spawn a duplicate cake, with occasional mutations causing a different kind or size of cake to spawn. The danger of number 871 lies in the potential of an unchecked outbreak causing exponential duplication. Every 24 hours, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, etc. After only a week, one unsupervised instance creates 64 individual cakes that all must be eaten by a person or team of people to stop its production. By Foundation calculations, an unchecked instance of number 871 would render the world uninhabitable in 80 days. While not traditionally scary for most people, number 871 presents a creative and pressing threat for the Foundation to wrangle, all out of a common item with a weird effect. A sharp contrast from all the cosmic nightmares that take the spotlight. Speaking of cosmic nightmares, number 3004 is a god. How gods work in SCP is entirely dependent on how any given author needs them to work, but most tend to fall back on what you'd expect. They're created and sustained by belief, and what people believe warps and affects them. Number 3004 is a very old entity, initially worshipped by Celtic Druids a couple thousand years ago. As a part of their nature worship, they exalted cicadas as a prime example of the natural cycle of life and death, creating what we call number 3004, a cicada god. When the Druids died out, so did belief in this god, and it went into hibernation, as cicadas do. Something woke it up, and in the mysterious ontological mechanics of godhood, it latched onto the worship of the Abrahamic god. As a result, seemingly random glitches in how worship and godhood work will avert select American Baptist processions, like christenings and baptisms and funerals, making them reflect number 3004 instead of the normal big man upstairs. There's a lot going on here, and I like it a lot. It's a lot of good cosmic horror, something massive that we can't fully understand having an effect on our little lives, while also having a deeply personal touch, the perversion of traditions we hold as deeply sacred. It's a careful balancing act of both, and I think it's a wonderful piece of horror writing, and I encourage you, along with all the other SCPs I list here, to go and read the article yourself. I wouldn't be listing them if it wasn't worth it. But SCP isn't just about horror. It can also be quite funny. Dash J's are joke SCPs, articles meant to be funny by default, but normal articles can also be funny. Number 572 is a sword, a katana with a powerful psychic effect. Anyone who holds it is slowly corrupted by its power, believing themselves to be strong, invincible, able to strike down anyone opposed to them. The sword makes them believe it empowers them. But it doesn't. It's just a mall katana, a cheap display piece at best. It just makes you think it's a powerful demon sword or whatever. And that's really funny. Humor and horror aren't the only domains of the Wiki. We can also pull on the heartstrings. You're expecting me to bring up Here There Be Dragons, aren't you? No, I have something else in mind. Number 1609 is a collection of wood chunks, nails, shredded fabric, and sawdust, currently serving as mulch for a garden in Foundation Site-08. Number 1609 used to be a chair. Used to. Past tense. The world of SCP sees many such organizations like the Foundation, people involved in the supernatural, one of which is the Global Occult Coalition, a militant force that leans more to the destructive side, counter to the Foundation's goal of containment. The GOC got number 1609 first, a chair possessed by some kind of personality with the power to teleport. Initially, the chair was friendly, and only sought to teleport behind people in need of a place to sit. Well, we can't stand for that. The GOC is nowhere to be found when sarkic flesh monsters and brain-scrambling mental contagions are afoot, But when a chair is nice, oh, you better believe they're on the job. In a tremendous display of why containment can be preferable to destruction, the GOC destroyed the chair by throwing it into a wood chipper. As you may know, this doesn't destroy wood, it just grinds it down to chunks, which the chair didn't appreciate, and promptly teleported its wood chunks into the lungs of the nearest GOC operative, much to the detriment of his health. What was once a helpful, friendly anomaly was now royally pissed off and murderous. However, number 1609's story does have a happy ending. Unable to destroy the thing properly, the GOC gave custody of it to the Foundation, where it now serves as mulch in a lovely garden installation at a Foundation site, helping to provide enrichment to the world, as even after its violent encounter with the GOC, number 1609's only desire is to be helpful to people. It just needs people to be nice to it in return. Number 1609 makes a nice companion piece to number 5031, another murder monster. For a great deal of its life, number 5031 lived in a blank, empty Foundation cell, its only interaction being the automated dispensation of food and water, the creature written off as a dangerous monster that needed to be locked away, and nothing more. A researcher with functioning mirror neurons observed the situation, the clinical description being, quote, wildly fucked up, and decided to provide number 5031 with adequate lodgings. First supplying it ambient sound for enrichment, then toys like bowling balls to bat around. Researchers experimented with different kinds of food, providing number 5031 the first diversity in its diet in a decade. These changes escalate to teaching it to recognize pictures, to read and draw, to providing a piano it can play, if crudely by human standards. Number 5031's displays of cognitive function culminate in practicing that oldest human art of culinary expertise. What was once thought to be a mindless monster learns that seasonings can be applied to food, how to prepare it, and does so, preparing a 3-course meal for the whole site it's contained at. That's the end of number 5031's file, the culmination of all its training, and a fine coup de grace all its own. But to me, the emotional climax of the article is this part. When it covers expression and communication, number 5031 has developed, how it asks for certain things. In the list are names. D-class that the, quote, monster has grown close with, to the point it knows them by name. Number 5031 asks to play with his friends. Narratives, characters, settings, tropes. They're tools of a writer's trade. Whether your goal is to write a story that horrifies, to write a story that has heart-thumping action, or to write a story about how no matter how scary something is, you should meet it with kindness, with understanding, how sometimes good things get mistreated and just need a second chance. The SCP formula's greatest strength is its flexibility, how it can serve in writing almost any kind of story. And I think that has merit.